Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to KTBS 3 First News. My name is Jeff Beinfor, and we have a special guest in the studio with us this morning, Secretary of Revenue or Revenue Secretary. What's the proper
Either
nomenclature?
Secretary,
Secretary of Revenue Richard Nelson for the state of Louisiana. Appreciate you being with us again this morning.
Thanks for having me.
And the main topic obviously is Amendment 2, which comes up on the March 29th ballot. Amendment 2 is getting all kinds of publicity. Well, let's just start with this. What does it do? What does it not do?
Sure. So Amendment 2 rewrites Article 7 of the Constitution, which is the revenue and taxation article. It's, I would say, probably one of the most important articles of the Constitution. It's actually the longest. It's longer than the original 1974 Constitution. And so what this does is we really just went through that amendment and said, or went through that article, and we said, well, what really needs to be fundamental law? What needs to be in there? And how do we move Louisiana forward? You know, I've been all over the state for the last couple of years, and people always ask me, why do our kids have to move to Texas? Why is Louisiana at the bottom of all these lists? Well, this Article 7 was one of those things that's really just been holding Louisiana back for a while. And so as part of this tax reform session last year in November, the legislature went through it, and we really made some significant changes.
So what is it? It takes some provisions out of the Constitution, puts them into statute, and that gives the legislature more freedom in how to appropriate money. Is that correct?
Yeah, it does a lot of good things. So one, it caps the maximum amount of income tax.
Right.
It gives seniors a double standard deduction, so it gives them a better tax break. It caps the growth of government so that the growth of the general fund of the state can't grow faster than in population inflation.
Yeah.
It puts a barrier to special interest tax breaks, and it gives the teachers a permanent pay raise by paying off $2 billion in retirement debt. So there's a lot of changes.
One of our local representatives is critical of. I'm not maybe getting her message, but making that $2,000 stipend permanent. To me, that's a raise. One of our local representatives is saying, well, that's not really a raise, it's just making the stipend permanent. Well, okay, that's language playing right there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a difference between if I give you $100 once or if I give you $100 every year forever, right? I mean, that's what a raise is. And so at the same time, that $2,000 level is actually the minimum, because when we make this $2 billion payment, there'll be extra savings. So a lot of teachers could see even more money than that. So it is a pretty significant savings, and your choice in that too is you pay that money in interest or you pay that money to the teachers.
Right.
And so, if you vote no on the amendment, you say we'd rather just pay it in interest instead of paying it to the teachers.
So one of the criticisms that Amendment 2 has been getting is that it's 115 pages long. But on the ballot, it will appear, I think it's 90 words, 91 words. And the criticism is you can't get the message across accurately by condensing it like that. What do you would say to that?
Yeah, it is a complex amendment. I would say that's because we're trying to undo 100 years of bad policy in a single amendment. And the Constitution gives you the authority to do that. The Supreme Court actually ruled yesterday that the language is clear and unbiased and gives people the notice that they need in order to vote. And of course, it's online. You can read the whole thing if you want to. But we did, and the legislature did try to pick out the things that I think matter the most to people, that would impact them the most, and put that in that ballot language.
And so, vote yes, right? That's what
Absolutely.
You're here to tell everybody.
I mean, I think that is a yes vote on Amendment 2. I think will really pave the way for the future of Louisiana, so that our kids can stay here and have better opportunities, so we don't have to see this. We've already seen great success from our tax reform session last year. This is really the kind of the icing on the cake to really solidify those gains going forward. The feeling around the country, around just the business community and the of people that are looking at Louisiana and looking to invest here, it's just completely different than it was a year ago.
I was just here listening to something on a radio show as I was driving into the studio today that said the sentiment and actual data on the economy are not quite meshing up now. The data is good, but the sentiment is negative.
On the U.S. economy.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that would kind of trickle down to the state.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, for Louisiana specifically, we've kind of been held back by these bad policies for a long time. And so, I think showing these significant moves, both in our tax code, cutting income taxes, making our tax code more streamlined, and then doing this in Constitutional Amendment 2, I mean, it really is just changing the narrative around the country on what Louisiana does. You know, we're always kind of used to being last in the list, and that's not the case anymore. You know, we're moving up significantly in tax policy. You know, we had our fourth graders scored 16th in the country in literacy. I mean, these are things that are significant, the most significant changes in our lifetime. And I think we're going to continue to see success in Louisiana, and it's going to be a whole new story going forward.
All right, well, Richard Nelson, Louisiana's Revenue Secretary, thanks for visiting with us this morning and telling us all about Amendment 2. It's on the March 29th ballot.
Thank you.